welcome home. It's Irish Family History with curious news and notes, celebrating our 4th year of this podcast at the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. One of 6 broadcast series from the head school at irishroots.com. I'm Mike OLaughlin, your host, publisher of rare Irish books and information on every county in Ireland since 1978. Be sure to read our blog, complete with links to click on from this podcast, and search our master index and books for free. Molly, wet the tea, Katie, bar the door, Sweeney, clear that floor, and bring out the Irish dancers. It's time we get this show on the road. Well, it's show number 151 of the Irish Family History and Genealogy podcast. The family name of the day is Trainor. Number 2, the Willie Clancy video of the week. Number 3, parade is on the shortest street in the world, and where would that be at? Number 4, searching for Black, Callan, Coyne, Meagher, and Osborne. Number 5, the Scottish Census is coming online next year, they say. That would be the 1901 census. Number 6, the Irish County of the Month is County Monaghan. And number 7, the audio of the week is on research tours of Dublin, Kildare, and Leix in Ireland. So we've got some special help there and a lot of interesting features this week. Stay tuned for a whole lot more. Well, here's our notes for the week. What's happening here at the Irish Roots Cafe? We're back up on irishcentral.com with our Irish blog, and you can take a look at that introduction there they wrote for me. Boy, Michael is the world's leading expert on, and it goes on and on, so you'll have to take a look at that, and I've got a link on the blog. That's on Irish Central under a Roots blog. Pretty interesting. Let me see. Would I have a big target on my back now? I don't really know, but we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Number 2, we're still getting a bit of feedback on those who want to change the Irish national anthem to another tune altogether. And I have to admit it took me by surprise there'd be that much interest. And that song has a lot of implication to folks that some of us might, especially some of us overseas, might not realize. And it's been a pretty interesting experience exploring that. Hey, you know what we got coming up next is a phone message from Bernadette. She's a listener in Ireland. I think that'd be over in County Kildare. But she offers special research tour help in counties Kildare, Leix, and Dublin. So, Kildare and Leix, you don't hear as much about them as you do other counties like Cork and Galway and Clare. So, maybe that help's needed, especially in those more remote areas. Well, we've got our message coming up right now, and I'm just going to play it for you from start to finish and move into the next segment when it's done, because I kept every little bit that I could, and I didn't want to take anything away from it. Here she comes up now.
Hi, Mike. My name is Bernadette Gibbs. I live in a small town in Kildare called Athy in Ireland. I just wanted to let you know, and your listeners and readers, about a unique service I'm providing in Ireland for people coming here in an endeavour to trace their Irish heritage. I have been searching my own family history for many years, as well as helping people from all over the world to find their ancestors by guiding them through the records they need for research while they're here. Over this time, I've realised there's a great need for an escorted tour service, as people spend a lot of money to get here. But once they're here, they find themselves confined to a small area of Kildare or the surrounding counties, as local transport, unfortunately, in Ireland is still somewhat primitive. They've come to see things and having to leave with no more information than they came with. The areas I cover are South Kildare, South County Dublin, County Kildare and County Leix, but I will consider other areas on request. The service consists of a pre-arrival consultation where I can ascertain from the visitor's own research where best their time will be spent on the day they arrive. I will then collect the person or group and escort them to all of the relevant places of interest to them on the day. I will also supply information on local accommodation in Kildare or accommodation in Dublin if required, as I find that someone with first-hand knowledge like myself is essential for a successful trip and saves the visitor a lot of local travel expense and shoe leather. My visitors find this an invaluable service, as so many times they arrive having been told their accommodation is a lot closer to the places they require than it actually is. I can tour from 1 to 3 people at a time, and the service price includes collection to and from a designated place of the visitor's choice and a full 8-hour escorted tour. The cost for the pre-consultation with the itinerary and collection in Kildare is about €100 per person per day. If collection is required from Dublin, there's an additional one-off charge of €50 per group. If anyone is interested in my service, they can email me on amethyst@diginet.ie for more information, or call me on my cell 085 1423 999. I look forward to meeting lots more people this year to show around beautiful Kildare and the surrounding counties. Thanks, Mike, and slán leat from the Emerald Isle.
Well, thanks to Bernadette for that note. Hope it works out for her there. And now it's time for the book of the month. That's another sort of neglected county, County Monaghan. And the book is County Monaghan Genealogy and Family History Notes from our big 34 or 36, how many? I think 34 volume set I think we've got now in the Irish Families Project. And this, of course, is the volume on County Monaghan. And I've got to remind you, while there are some family history notes in there and some family history things, it's not a giant collection of family history. Our big collection of family histories for all the counties is in Volume 1, which is the Book of Irish Families, Great and Small. But this book takes that and goes even further and looks at some specific records for the county and how to research within that county. And it's just a little bit different thing. It's more of a down and dirty workbook where you can really get down and do some work. If you just want something pretty to look at, I don't know if it'd be for you or not, but I wrote it for researchers who wanted to know more about County Monaghan research. And it's got, well, let me see if I can take a look here. I've got a whole 5 or 10 paragraphs written out on the blog if you're interested in more details on that book. And you can take a look at some of the most numerous families. Well, they're like Duffy and Connolly and McKenna and McMahon. A lot of Hughes and Murphy, McCabe, Martin, Smith, Kelly, Quinn, McGuire, Murray, Woods, and all the variant spellings that goes with those names. And if you take a look at some of the old Monaghan families, you're going to see O'Byrne and Boylan and McWard and Trainor and McArdle. And Trainor, I think that's the name of the day here. So that matches up pretty good too. Of course, you got some Finnegans and Cassidys and McPhillips there in the old days. And that, of course, could be changed to Phillips. Now, settler names also included families like Davidson and Stewart and Buchanan and McKenzie, Cameron, Walker, Patterson, Sinclair, and McCutcheon. And I tell you, there's quite a variety of families there, aren't there now? That makes it an exciting county to research in. And we've also included in that book the existing returns from the Census of 1659. It gives you the full name of what they call titulados, such like Richard Blaney, Thomas Wyatt, Nicholas Owen, Matthew Boyd, John Thomas, John Forster, and so on. You can just go in there and see if you had one of the landed families or more wealthy families, you're more likely to appear in print, don't you know? And that's the same that's true for today. Now it's time we move on to the Magnificent Seven. Well, you know, here in a little bit, we're going to tell you about the Irish piper Willie Clancy, and we got a video with a fiddler and him, and that's pretty interesting. But now it's time for the Magnificent Seven, raising our eyes skyward and giving thanks and asking for help. Number 1, Virginia Charest of Tampa, Florida, your families of Galway and County Galway genealogy and family history notes has shipped. Welcome member Elizabeth Harper of Queensland, Australia, looking for William Black, about 1795, married, it says there, and around 1820, it says there's possibly Margaret, not known where married, but lived in Kildare, County Tyrone, where 5 sons were born, Joseph, John, Archibald, Andrew, and Robert. Number 3, Hilda Pardee of Greensboro, North Carolina, your surnames of Ireland with 200 family location maps, has shipped. Number 4, Gerald G. Abbott of Port St. Lucie, Florida, your County Antrim genealogy and family history notes has shipped. Number 5, Howard Worley of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania, your County Kerry genealogy books have shipped. Number 6, member Charlotte Casimir of Wildemar, California, your County Cavan and County Antrim genealogy books have shipped. And number 7, welcome to member Mary Callan Coyne of Thorndale, Pennsylvania, searching for Callan of Monaghan, Coyne of Roscommon, Meagher of Tipperary, and Osborne of Limerick. Hey, you can check out our search list online too. It's about time we updated that search list, but we still got plenty there. Now it's time we moved on to the Irish family name of the day. Well, the name of the day is Trainor, no matter how you spell it, and today's family history is in honor of member William J. Trainor of Sugar City, Colorado, and William spells that name Trainor, and of course you already know that you could end up with an ER at the end of that name instead. Some people have used it even, they've taken the Mac that used to be in front of it and taken that C at the end of Mac and made it Craner. Starts off with a CR instead of a TR, and sometimes due to translation, you'll find a relationship to the family of Armstrong, and the normal vowel interchanges you're going to find here, just like all the other names you find in Ireland. And it's from a couple of variant spelling groups. Let's see, at least variant spelling group number 1980 from the Guide to the Various Spellings of Irish Family Names. Got a link to that book on the blog. And the history of the name, it says that it was usually found with a Mac before it in the old days, and they're linked to the old geographical division of Oriel and, of course, the north of Ireland. In Irish, the name of Mac Trainor is said to mean son of the strong. Hence, some people adopted the name of Armstrong. Of course, there could have been some English Armstrongs there that aren't related at all, so you've got to research your family to find out for sure. MacLysot gives the spelling of Mac Trainor as a variant, with the T at the beginning of the root name being aspirated. I don't have any direct reports of that, but MacLysot's a good old sort, so we should listen to his tips. And we find the use of Mac Trainor, Trenor, as a spelling in the 1659 census, or at least the spelling of the census taker. We don't know how the people were spelling it for sure. But the name Trainor is also found in the Irish Birth Index for the 19th century. So there's enough around to find a few of them here and there. You don't have to worry about it be going extinct. And if we took a quick little look at the Irish Book of Arms, what are we going to find? Well, they're not in the Irish Book of Arms, but that's okay because most families are not in that Irish Book of Arms, and it doesn't necessarily mean what you might think when you do find it. And, hey, I told you, I really owe a big thanks to everybody who has subscribed as a member in the last couple of months, keeping us going, keeping the podcast moving, because that's the only form of support. And thanks for all the book purchases, too. It sure helps. And, hey, later up in this little episode, we're going to talk about what they say is the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. And it was on the shortest street in the world, according to Ripley's at one point. Now, I wonder where might that be? Well, I think we're going to find out in just a few minutes. But now it's time we move to the free Master Index search. That's free online at irishroots.com. You can go there and type your name in the little box there in the free search and See how many and exactly which books your name comes up in. That could help your research in the future. Well, where did we find the Trainor name? Well, we found it in the families of County Dublin, Ireland. We found it in County Antrim genealogy book, County Tyrone, County Armagh, County Monaghan genealogy, and we also found it in the names of Irish passengers to America, and it's also found in Irish names and surnames by the Reverend Patrick Wolfe. And of course, his was a good old classic work put together there in about the first quarter of the 1900s. So it was real interesting. Really, the first of the modern day works trying to take apart Irish surnames and families and find out where they came from and where they might have gone to. So that's a good one to pay attention to. So Trainor, we find out, has come from at least Mac Trainor in the beginning, we think. And, of course, some of those trainers changed into Armstrong, maybe a few that were influenced by the English settlement. And, of course, a lot of those Armstrongs were English, so don't be fooled into thinking all the Armstrongs were old Irish, although they might be considered Irish today. We've talked about that before. Nothing remains constant, and things tend to change over time. Now we're coming up to the websites and pages of the month. Hey, it's Around the World in Irish Ways with the web pages and videos we found interesting this month. Here we've got the Brennan family returns to County Monaghan, Ireland, in keeping with our Monaghan selection for this week. And it was a trip to Ireland, and the Kathleen, Margaret, and Thomas Brennan visit County Monaghan, where their parents were born, and it's set to music. You'll enjoy it. It's on YouTube. Link is on the blog. Number 2, we've got a web page that contains databases that contain the Trainor surname. So that's interesting, and got a link to that on the blog. Number 3, the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. It's a very short video, and it's about equal to that walk I take around the block if I'm not going to the big parade. We break out the flag and get a few neighbors, and that might be the shortest, but I never entered it in a contest. That would take off the spirit of the whole thing. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And number 4, Willie Clancy on the Irish pipes. We've got a blog on that on YouTube. And it also shows Joe Leary with the fiddle. And, of course, this is back when they were both alive. So if you go to YouTube, if you go to our blog, you'll find the link on YouTube to help you out there. And, of course, that world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade is also on a video that we've got linked on the blog. It's a fairly short video. I think it just might be 30 or 50 seconds or maybe a minute. So that won't take up a lot of your time. There are plenty more pages out there, but we thought these might get you started just out there looking, and a lot of information on Trainor that we could add in here too. But now it's time for Curious News and Notes from Ireland Today. Well, number 1, that shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, you know, it might be the Hot Springs, Arkansas walk across the 98-foot-long Bridge Street, which was once the shortest street in the world, according to Ripley's. And we've got that off the web from SmithsonianMag.com. You got a link on the blog to find that. And it has several other unusual St. Patrick's Day celebrations. I think they included the Isle of Montserrat as another place. I think that might be the only other nation where St. Patrick's Day is an official national holiday, which, by the way, it might not be a bad idea to get that lobbied in. If they can pass all this other legislation, you think they could take care of St. Patrick. Number 2, Library and Archives Canada. I've talked about them before. Don't forget them if you're researching in Canada, and a lot of people, even in America, have to go back to Canada to trace their family back. There's just a lot. It's a great portal to various resources on Irish heritage and culture. And it also has a guide to the Ottawa Irish Festival activities. And you'll like it. It's from Collections Canada, irish.gc.ca. You'll have to go to the blog, click on the link, it'll take you right there. Number 3, music, dance, and language at the Willie Clancy Summer School. This year it's July 3rd, 2010 to July 11th, 2010. And Molly always likes that one. She's been there a couple of times. She says they dance you all the way to the end. You got nothing left. And they promote the study, practice, and appreciation of Irish traditional music, song, and dance. And it started in 1973 to commemorate Ilian piper Willie Clancy, who was apparently from Milltown Mall Bay right there in County Clare. I've got a link to that on the blog. Number 4, the 1911, I think it's 1911, yes, 1911 Scottish Census is being imaged and indexed, and they may be as ready as early as April of 2011, according to reports. I've got a link on the blog, and of course, if you're searching up there, particularly in the north of Ireland, you got a lot of contacts with Scotland, and a lot of families came down from Scotland to Northern Ireland, so it's important for the Irish to be aware of those census records up there in Scotland and what's going on. So that might help some Irish researchers. Number 5, names have been recovered of famine Irish who died in Toronto, Canada. And in 1847, over 38,000 Irish men, women, and children landed in Toronto, and over 1,100 of them didn't survive that year. They died when they got there, and I know a lot of them died before they got there. But at the outset of that project, they only had 30 of the names collected and verified, and they say now they've got 675 names collected and verified, and they're looking for more. So it's at the IrelandParkFoundation.com. I've got a link on the blog. Just one more piece of information that's being covered regularly, and I expect that to continue. So that wraps it up for today. That's all for today, folks. Joseph, warm up those pipes. Remember, we have a broadcast series on Irish song and recitation, on local history of the Irish in America, and on 2,000 years of Irish history, as well as on the counties, and something special coming up on Irish language, I hope. We've got all that and more at our head school at irishroots.com. And you know, we've been known to appear, exhibit, teach, and even sing for your special events. Be sure to book in advance if it's important, and write me at my American address at Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri, 64116. Leave a message by phone at 816-256-3360. Reach me on my webpage at irishroots.com. Skype me at the Irish Roots Cafe. Get me on MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, and Irish Central. Members foot the bill, so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.